All right, hello sports fans. This is Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and hopefully we have our chat window issue fixed. Okay, we are good. So this is week number 7 in our 1976 Status Pro Advanced Game of the Week replay. And today, Mark the Bird Fidrych will make his debut in our Game of the Week replay series. So we wanted to highlight this as a live game. Now, Mark Fidrych had actually pitched in 2 games prior to this, both in relief, both finishing in the 9th inning of earlier games. This was his actual first major league start, and it occurred on May 15th, 1976, and resulted in a 2-hitter, a 2-1 win against the Cleveland Indians, and launched the Bird on his way to becoming a national phenom in with the baseball public, and really a media darling in general. So we are going to replay this. We'll replay his Monday night start against the Yankees, which occurred later in the season as well, and that in itself was the game that really kind of had him explode in a national spotlight. And you know, Fidrych, by all accounts, was just a good, really just like a hippie, just a laid-back, mellow guy. He celebrated making the team out of spring training by breaking into the ballpark with his girlfriend and having sex on the mound. And it's kind of how he took life, just live for the moment. And he went through life that way. And his former teammates will talk about him, and they say the guy you saw, there was no act, no putting it on. He was just a genuinely good dude, nice guy, and just loved to have fun. And tragically taken from us much, much too early back in 2009, when he was working underneath a truck on his farm, and the 10 and 10 wheeler actually fell on top of him, and he unfortunately was deceased by the time anybody got there. Basically, friend of his who he worked for in contracting had stopped by and just to chat and talk about the upcoming road building, I guess, season you could call it, which Fidrych was often did work for him on, and found him at that point. But for this one, the Bird will be taking on Pat Dobson, and the Indians have already made an appearance in this series, so this will be their second one. What we'll do first is roll for stuff, and this game played at Tiger Stadium. And make sure I have Tiger Stadium here. The Status Pro Advanced is really nice. It has personalized charts for each ballpark. So for Tiger Stadium, for an increase in stuff, basically 11 to 15 would be an increase in stuff, and 76 to 88 would be a decrease. So visiting team first, and Pat Dobson, he will have his normal stuff, as will the Bird. So no adjustments there, and we will be ready to get started. So our lineups for this one, for the homestanding, or for the visiting Indians, I should say, John Let It Be Lowenstein leading off in right field, Buddy Bell at third, Rick Manning is in center, Rico Carty, the designated hitter, George Hendrick in left, Alan Ashby catching, Doug Howard at first, Dwayne Kuiper will be second baseman, Frank Duffy at short, and of course on the mound for the Tribe, Pat Dobson. For the homestanding Tigers, Ron LaFleur in center, Alex Johnson in left, Big Willie Horton, the DH, Rusty Staub, one of many teams he played for and built an adoring fan base with. He'll be in right field, hit cleanup. Jason Thompson at first, Aurelio Rodriguez at the hot corner, Tom, can you hear me now, Verizor at short, Gary Sutherland at second, and Bruce Kim will be catching the Bird tonight. So formalities out of the way, we are ready to go. So first up, and again, using Status Pro, only thing I use the cards for is base runner advancement and to check on the out. The 1D12 will serve as the identifier for clutch plays. Roll of 1, clutch defense on the pitcher's card, clutch batting on the batter's card, and then of course 11 or 12 will result in an error check. So let's get ready to go. Up first will be John Lowenstein for the Tribe, and Fidrych Fidrych 2-8 against right-handers and 2-7 against lefties. And this first result will come off Lowenstein's card 66. And Lowenstein, that will be a pop fly into foul territory. And moving over to take care of that is first baseman Jason Thompson, 1 down. Next up, Buddy Bell. And 10, this will come off Bell's card 17. That is going to be a single into left field. So, actually I did not need to flip that card. So the Indians have their first base runner and hopefully one of only 2 hits they get in this replay. And not happening though. Rick Manning up and 11 on Manning's card, and that is going to result in a single to left field as well. And we'll do base runner advancement. Bell is a B. And 42, first to third on a single to left. And he is going to make it, actually no, he will be held at second base. So station to station. Needed a 32 or less to advance. So the Bird has already given up the same amount of hits. And now Red Sox fan joining the broadcast. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. And just in time for the Birds' debut in our Game of the Week 1976 Status Pro Advanced Replay. And Birds off to a rough start. This is going to be off Rico Cardi's card, the designated hitter, and 55 against the right-hander, and that's going to be an out. And Cardi, that will be a ground ball to shortstop, and Fidrych gets the 6-4-3 double play and gets out of the inning. So the Indians touch the Bird for a couple of hits here in the first inning, but he rebounds to induce the double play and get out of it. So the Tigers come to the bat in the bottom of the first, no score, and the Indians already have matched their hit total from the real-life game in which they got 2 and scored a single run in 1976. 67, and Dobson. Dobson is a 2-6 against lefties, 2-7 against right-handers. And our first result, 67, and that is going to be an out. So the speedy Ron LaFleur and pops him up into foul territory, first base. And over to take that is Doug Howard, 1 down. And you were right, Al. A good twin killing is for sure the pitcher's best friend. So up next is Alex Johnson for the Tigers, and this is going to be off Dobson's card again, and the right-hander, 24, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Dobson freezes him with a slider on the outside corner. Alex Johnson pounds the bat on the plate, goes back to the dugout. Big Willie Horton up. Horton in 1976 hit 262, had 14 bombs, and here comes the pitch, and 11. This will be an error check. 15 off of Dobson's card, and that is going to be a single into left field. I'm sorry, right-hander single into center field. So in center field for the Tribe, we have the always trusty Rick Manning, and he has an error rating of 1. So no faux pas on that. Willie Horton is on board, though, with a 2-out single. And that is going to bring up the Tigers cleanup hitter, Rusty Staub, sorry. And Rusty LaGrande Orange from his time up in Montreal. Also played for the Mets. And we're going to have another potential error check, 12. And 15 will be off Dobson's card. Staub, the left-hander. That's going to be a single into left field as well. So we will first do runner advancement. And Horton, Big Willie, will be a C with the 2-out adjustment. And 15, he's going to get to third on the hit. And for the Tribe, Hendrick is a 1 also in the outfield with his error rating. He gets to that, makes a play. So first and third now, Tigers are threatening, and now the young Jason Thompson up, the slugging first baseman. Only hit 218 in 1976, but he did hit 17 puffin stuffs. Here we go. And 7 to the left-hander. That's going to be off Thompson's card. 63, and unfortunately that will be an out. Gets a hold of that, and that is going to be a fly ball to deep right field, back to the track, going, and caught. So hauled in harmlessly by John Let It Be Lowenstein, and the inning is over. A long, loud out for Thompson. So 2 hits for the Tigers, as the Indians also accomplished that feat in the top of the first. Both pitchers fatigued, by the way. Fidrych is a 18. And I have 13 on this thing. Dobson is a 13. So Fidrych an 18, Dobson a 13. Fidrych, he really did get a lot of mileage out of his arm that rookie year, and didn't really result or contribute to his injury problems later. That happened with a knee injury in spring training 1977. And when he came back, he tried to overcompensate for the knee, and it created some issues with the shoulder. So facing George Hendrick here in the top of the second inning. 21, that's going to be off Hendrick's card, and Hendrick gets around on that and cranks that down the left field line. That's rattling around in the corner, and Hendrick's going to pull into second base with a stand-up double. He hit that one hard. So Fidrych, definitely not imitating life right now. And you're right, Al, he actually did injure that, shagging fly balls, which is definitely typical Bird. Next up, Alan Ashby, and 4 is going to be off Bird's card against the left-hander, as Ashby is a switch hitter. Bird comes in 37, and that is going to be an out. So Ashby, he's going to ground that down to first base. That's going to move the runner over to third. So 3 unassisted on the putout, and George Hendrick now stands at third, and the Indians poised to take the lead in this one. 1 down, Doug Howard up. Here comes a pitch from Fidrych, and that will be off Fidrych's card. 56 will be an out. And Howard, ground ball down to second base, and the infield was not in. Probably poor managerial decision by me there. So G4. And runner on third back, and if he is a B, which he is not, so he's going to be held. Actually, Hendrick is a B, so he's going to come in to score on the ground out. I was looking on the wrong sheet. So 4-3 goes the put out, and the Indians break on top of the Tigers in this one 1-0 on the RBI ground out. 2 down now for Dwayne Kuiper Snacks. And here comes a pitch from Fidrych, 37 off of Kuiper's card versus the righty, and that's going to be a walk. So the Bird struggling early in this one. His fatigue reduction is now up to a 5 as Kuiper trots down to first base. Frank Duffy the batter. And going to be off Fidrych's card, 52. That'll be an out, and Fidrych will get out of this. A line drive to shortstop, and that is right at Tom. Can you hear me now, Verizon? He makes the catch. And side is retired, but a walk and a double and a ground out. The Indians manufacture a run the old-fashioned way. So we head to the bottom of the second inning, 1-0. Cleveland on top of Detroit in this one. The debut of Mark the Bird Fidrych. And third baseman Aurelio Rodriguez set to start things off against Dobson. And Aurelio, the right-hander, this will be off Dobson's card, 26, and swing and a miss, rings him up. So 1 down as Rodriguez trots back to the dugout. Tom Verizon up, the shortstop, and 10 going to be off Verizon's card, 36 versus the right-hander. And that's going to be a strikeout. So the Tigers making Dobson look like Fidrych in this one as 2 strikeouts in a row for Pat. And this brings up Gary Sutherland, the second baseman for the Tigers. 6 going to be off Dobson's card as well against the right-hander. 48 will be an out. And that is a fly ball to left field, and can of corn out there for George Hendrick. Side is retired. 3 up, 3 down go the Tigers. We are through 2. And Indians lead this one 1-0 as John Lowenstein, John Let It Be Lowenstein, as Chris Berman called him. Top of the third, and Lowenstein popped out in the first inning. 4 is going to be off Fidrych's card against the left-hander, 13. That's going to be a single into left field. So Fidrych, that is the 4th hit he has given up early in this one. And Lowenstein, he is a AA minus, and they're thinking about getting frisky and not going to do it with a 1-run ball game. So 31, this comes off Fidrych's card against Bell, and that's going to be a strikeout. So the Bird Gives Buddy Bell a bowl of Special K for a nice hearty breakfast. And one down, runner on first base for Rick Manning. Here comes a pitch from the Bird off of Bird's card, 52. That's going to be an out. And Manning, it's going to be a ground ball down to first base, and throw goes over to second for the fielder's choice. A nice play by the Tigers first baseman Jason Thompson. They can't turn two though. So 3-6 on the putout, and fielder's choice. Manning stays at first base and gets his lead for Rico Carty. Always a hearty breakfast with Special K, Al, my friend. And 5, Fidrych going to be off of his card, 22. And Fidrych, the right-hander, he's going to give up another single. So the Bird continues to struggle. Rick Manning will be an A. And going first to third, he's going to be in there easily. So the Indians threatening again, runners at the corner, and Fidrych needs to get a strike out here. Here comes a pitch, and 64 going to be off a Hendricks card. That'll be an out, and he takes a big cut, and that's going to be a sharp line drive down to third base and skewered easily by Aurelio Rodriguez. So L5, and the inning is over, and the Indians get a couple more hits, but leave 2 base runners as we head to the bottom of the third inning. 1-0, Cleveland leads the Bird and the Tigers in this one. Mark Fidrych's major league debut as Bruce Kim, his battery mate, set to hit. 51 off of Kim's card, and Kim against the right-hander is going to draw the base on balls to get things going for the Tigers here in the third. And that is 3 reduction points now for Dobson, who has a fatigue rating again of 13, so he is still well within his zone. Has a speedy run on the floor set to hit. 8, going to be off the floor's card. 65, and 65 against the right-hander. Swing and a miss, rings him up, and LaFleur flailing away at the fastball. Definitely behind that one, and he heads back to the dugout, and that's not what you want in your leadoff man. An ability to put the ball in play as Alex Johnson steps up. And Johnson, the right-hander, this is going to be off the card of Dobson as well. This will be an out. And that'll be a ground ball down to shortstop. That's in the hole, and the only play is over to first base, so Kim's going to go to second on the putout there. So score that 6-3. A Duffy over to Doug Howard, and 2 down. Runner on second base for Big Willie Horton. And right now the Tigers could use a clout as Horton digs in. Going to be off his card, 68, and wow, just missed that. And Big Willie, it's a fly ball to deep center field, to the track, to the wall, back against the wall, glove in the air, and coming down with it is Rick Manning. So another long, loud out. And the Tigers, no hits, no runs, no errors. They strand 1 on the walk, and we are through 3 innings. 1-0. Indians lead this one. As Alan Ashby set to lead off for the Indians against the Bird. And Fidrych just not having luck. That's going to be a hit into the hole, and getting over to that is shortstop for Reiser. He's got to put it in his pocket, can't make the play, an infield single for Ashby. So Fidrych already is at an 8 in terms of his fatigue reduction. Had a couple of long, loud outs, Al. 2 to the track for the Tigers, and would be a very different ball game. 58, that's going to be an out off of Fidrych's card for Howard. And that'll be a fly ball to shallow right field. And coming in to take that easily is Rusty Staub, Trusty Rusty. Gets the ball back in. Back to first goes Ashby, and that brings up Dwayne Kuiper Snacks. Here we go. 23 off a Bird's card, and against the left-hander, Bird is going to give up a single into right field. So moving over, Ashby is a C, 32. First to third on the single to right, and Ashby is going to get to third easily. So once again, Indians runners at the corners. And they have gotten to Fidrych in every inning thus far. As Frank Duffy steps in, 1 down, runners first and third, they get their lead. Here comes the pitch, and Fidrych needs a big out. Duffy, and that'll be an out. Will it be the kind he needs, though? RN, and that's a ground ball down to shortstop, and Fidrych does it again, induces a 6-4-3 twin killing, gets out of the inning. So the Indians putting all kinds of people on base. They cannot break through except for a single run in the second. They have a total of 7 hits through 4 innings against Fidrych. Definitely not sharp, but we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Rusty Staub's set to lead it off for the Tigers. And 7, that's going to be off Staub's card against the right-hander, 42, and Staub draws a base on balls. So that is the second walk for Pat Dobson. And I remember, actually watched, obviously if they'd been a Yankee fan, I watched the entire Fidrych start against the Yankees. And even though I hated the Tigers and rabid Yankees fan, by the end of the game I was definitely a Fidrych fan as well, and that has kind of stuck with me. Definitely one of my favorite players from that time period. And Thompson, 7, and against the left-hander, that's going to be off Thompson's card, and it'll be an error check as well. 26 against the right-hander, and that is a deep drive, so error check may be redundant here in Tiger Stadium. So Tiger Stadium, deep drive, 66 or less will be a home run. So here comes the pitch, crack of the bat. Thompson gets into that, 87, and it is going to be caught at the wall again, 3 times. Tiger batters have taken the ball to the wall, and it has been caught. It's going to be deep enough to get stopped to second base, however, and we will now do the error check. So in right field, good defensive outfield for the Indians. Lowenstein is a 2, and he puts it away no problem. So that'll go down as a sacrifice fly for Thompson. That's actually the second time he's taken one to the track. I didn't know that. So what you would think that would be a marquee matchup, Al, with Fidrych, the attention he was garnering at the time, and obviously the Yankees. You know, they were finally coming back to, I guess, the upper echelon, per se, of the American League East, as Steinbrenner had started to add his free agency, or free agents. So yeah, I would have thought that would have been a good choice for Game of the Week naturally, but as you say, it was a really just a stroke of luck that the American public was introduced to Fidrych that night. So Aurelio Rodriguez now, 1 down runner on second base. And 7, that is going to be off Dobson's card, and 36, and swing and a miss. Dobson's got the K ball working. That's 5, I believe, already for Dobson. That definitely is 5 strikeouts. As Tom, can you hear me now? The riser comes up looking to tie the score. And 7 against the right-hander. That'll be off Dobson's card. And Dobson, ring him up again. Dobson has the cash register open. Strikeout number 6 as the Tigers go down harmlessly after a walk yet again. And a long loud out. So 3 times they've taken the ball to the fence, and 3 times it has been caught. We are through 4 in this one. And Indians clinging to a 1-0 lead over the Tigers and Mark Fidrych. Top of the 5th inning, Fidrych pitching to John Let It Be Lowenstein, 52. And Lowenstein grounds that down to second base. A quick flip over to first. And Gary Sutherland has to put out 1 away. I saw there was, I think it was like an hour, 50, 55, 60-minute documentary on the Bird. God, it's been a while. I'll have to go back and watch that. But, you know, as you mentioned that in the chat, Al, I think you're right. I think that it was the Detroit-New York game was the second choice that day. Buddy Bell up, and this will be a potential error. 72 will be an out. And Buddy Bell, that's a fly ball to deep center field. Going back to the track to take that in is Ron LaFleur, and LaFleur is a 3. So speedy, but not the greatest of defensive outfielders. He makes that play, bobbles the ball, and secures it. So a long out to record out number 2 of the inning, a long out. And Rick Manning up, and Fidrych looking for his first 3-up, 3-down inning. He's going to get that, and it's going to be off his card and out. And Manning Ground ball down to shortstop, so the Bird finally gets settled in. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Indians in the 5th. We head to the bottom of the frame. And our score is 1-0. And Chris from Strat-O-Matic, Delaware, good evening. Thank you for joining Mark Fidrych's national debut in our 1976 Status Pro Advanced Replay. Up to date, Chris, there has been some long, loud outs. The Tigers have taken the ball to the warning track or the fence 3 different times, but just haven't been able to push it out. And Fidrych has struggled early. Gave up a run in the 2nd inning after a leadoff double, a walk, and then a ground ball from Doug Howard brought the run home. So we are up to date as Gary Sutherland leads it off in the home half of the 5th, and this is going to be off Dobson's card. Will be a potential error unless Dobson gets another strikeout, and that's right there. So, Chris, for you, swinging at the knee cheese. 1 down as Dobson has struck out 7 Tigers in this one, and he has been tough. Gave up 2 hits in the 1st, and after that, Tigers have not put one safely in play. Bruce Kim up. And Kim going to be off Dobson's card again. 31. Look at that. Looked so good the first time. Do it again. Strike 3 as Kim goes down. Strikeout number 8. So the real story of this game may be Dobson as he continues to rack up the strikeouts. He now has 8 through 4 2/3. Ron LaFleur, and LaFleur struck out his last time up as well. And 75 off LaFleur's card. That is going to be an out. As LaFleur, fly ball into center field, and piece of cake out there for Rick Manning. So another 3 up, 3 down inning for Dobson and the Indians. And we go to the top of the 6th, still 1-0 in this one. A good pitcher's duel brewing. As Rico Cardi set to face Fidrych, and starting with the 6th, the pitchers now get a fatigue point for each inning they start. Fidrych now has 10 fatigue points, a total of 18. He has really for the time period, has amongst the higher fatigues you'll find in the game. So he should be good if he continues to settle down. 63 to Cardi, and we have a 1, so that's going to be a clutch fielding result, and a high number on the roll does not bode well depending on who it's hit to. So ground ball to shortstop, and for the Tigers, Tom Verizor has a clutch defense of 3. So clutch D of 3 and 63. GX6, and that is going to be a single pass for Verizor, so a range play basically. He's unable to get to that as Cardi has a single, and that is his 2nd hit of the day. So Fidrych now starting to show a little bit of fatigue. 41 off of Hendricks' card against the right-hander, and Hendricks, big swing and nothing but air. Down goes Hendrick, 1 away. Brings up Alan Ashby, and the Indians catcher grounded out in the 2nd inning and singled back in the 4th, made it to 3rd base. And 8 coming off Ashby's card, and Ashby ropes that down the right field line. That is into the corner, and let's see if that scores a run on first base. Cardi is a D, not very fleet of foot, and he's going to have to hold at 3rd base, so a hard hit ball. And again, Fidrych finds himself in trouble. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, only a single out. And that brings up Doug Howard, the slugging first baseman. He knocked in the game's only run with a ground out back in the 2nd inning. Coming off of Fidrych's card, and 38, and that is a potential pass ball. Yikes, and yes it is. So the ball gets by Kim. And coming in to score is Hendrick, and over to 3rd goes Howard. Indians lead this 2-0. And Fidrych now at 13, and the Tigers, looks like they're going to get some action going in the bullpen. And down there they have Steve Grilly up and loosening up. So Fidrych now, runner on 3rd base. Howard still at the plate, 1 down. Needs a strikeout right here. And drop the green die, nothing on that. 22 off of Howard's card, and that's going to be a single back up the middle. And Indians extend their lead to 3-0, and Fidrych continues to struggle. He is now at 15 fatigue, and really is loosening up rapidly. This is not going to be the debut that Fidrych had in real life, apparently, as 8 is going to be off Dwayne Kuipersnack's card, and 46, that'll be an out. And can he get another double play? And that's a fly ball to shallow right field. Not going to happen, but he has 2 down. And that brings up Frank Duffy. And the Indian shortstop is lined out and hit into a double play. And 13 off of Fidrych's card, and that's going to be a single as well. So Howard going first to third will be a C with 2 outs, 58. And he's going to go station to station. So Fidrych up to 16 now, and this will definitely probably be his last inning. And Glenn has joined the chat. Glenn, how are you doing? Fidrych is struggling a little bit. And to answer your question, Chris, this is Status Pro Advanced version. It has the splits. They've really done, Derek in the community has done a good job kind of keeping this game alive since it became public domain, so to speak. He puts out great card sets. But Fidrych right now with Lowenstein up is on the ropes, and it's going to be off Lowenstein's card, and 26, and swing and a miss, a big cut, and Lowenstein just missed that one. That was right down the middle of the plate, couldn't get around on it. The Indians, however, get 4 hits and push 2 runs across. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cleveland leads us 3-0. And Fidrych is going to find his day done. So not quite what we were hoping for. Fidrych never really got on track. He had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. He was cuffed around most of the rest of the time. So he's going to go 6 innings. Could actually have been worse than it was. He gave up 11 hits, 3 runs, all earned. And walks, he had a single walk, actually 2 walks, and struck out 3. So far from the actual debut that he had back on this day, May 15th, 1976, where he defeated the Indians 2-1 on a 2-hitter. And now it will be up to his teammates to see if they can get him off the hook as he takes his seat on the bench. So for Detroit, in the bottom of the 6th inning, Alex Johnson is going to get this started. And just checking in on the chat. Yeah, Glenn, I agree. Derek was really great. I pondered getting this for quite a while and finally pulled the trigger on it. And you know, corresponding with Derek got to me real quick. Really happy with the quality of the cards and the tweaks he's made to the engine, especially the pitching. So definitely will be ordering more sets from him, probably doing a dead ball season next. So Alex Johnson up, and 9. This is going to be off of Johnson's card, and 1 won't be a clutch batting result because there are no runners on base, so 67 will be an out. And that was going to be a fly ball to right field. Piece of cake out there for the Indians right fielder Lowenstein, 1 down. Big Willie Horton up. And I use that flipper too. In fact, I have it on my pad. It just doesn't show up well on film. It's just like it's like looking into a truck headlight. But I do that when I play offline too. Really makes the game go quickly. So Horton up, and 4 is going to be off Dobson's card. And Dobson, he keeps them coming. Swing and a miss again. 9 strikeouts for Pat Dobson. And he is on his way to a very special outing. This game got the Bird attention back in 1976, and in this replay, Dobson is stealing his thunder. 10 going to be off Staub's card, and 21. And finally, for the first time since the very first inning, the Tigers have a hit as Staub singles up the middle at 2-out base knock. And that brings up big Jason Thompson. And I know it's getting late back there, Chris. Thanks for stopping by, buddy, and have a good night. So 12 to Thompson, and it's going to be off Thompson's card, 46, and a big cut at that, and holds up, checks down to first base, and he said he did not go around, so Thompson draws the walk, and the Tigers are in business here. 2 base runners, 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Aurelio Rodriguez up. Here comes a pitch from Dobson, 87 off of Dobson's card, and that is going to be a fly ball to center field. Manning doesn't break stride, takes out on a run, so finally the Tigers get a hit, first time since the 1st inning, but after that Dobson rises to the occasion, shuts them down. We're through 6 frames here in Detroit. Indians lead this one 3-0, and new pitcher for the Tigers, Steve Grilly, in the right-hander in 1976, 3-1, 3 saves, a 4.64 ERA. He set to face Buddy Bell. And Grilly's control only 2-4 against lefties, 2-6 against righties. First result's going to be off Bell's card, 22, and that's a hard line drive back up the middle. Indians tearing the cover off the ball. They don't care who's on the hill for the Tigers. So leadoff single, and Grilly with a fatigue of 7, and that is his first point. And off of Grilly's card, 62 against Rick Manning, the left-hander, and that'll be an out. And he's so horrible against left-handers. Doesn't even have a regular out, a wild pitch. And actually, I need to check wild pitch. So no, now it will be an out. And Manning, that is going to be a fly ball to left field, 1 away. Luckily, Cleveland does not have a lot of left-handers in the lineup, and Ken Castro and Rob have joined the chat. And Rob, check out that great channel. Got some wrestling going. I still got to finish that last wrestling card you put up, Rob. But looking forward to that. Some good Von Erichs on there. Some good matches up and down that card. So I'm going to watch that actually after this game. And Ken Castro, thank you for joining, buddy. Hope you were doing well. So 1 down, and Grilly. Here comes a pitch to Rico Carty. 9 going to be off Carty's card. 42 and 42. Rico gets into that one. It is deep, deep, and gone. Baby wants a rocket ride. Rico Carty put a charge in that, and into the night it went, a 2-run home run, and Cleveland putting the foot down. They now lead this 5-0, and definitely does not look like Mark the Bird will be getting off the hook in his Major League debut start in this one. And Grilly was not the answer. 1 down. Bases are cleared now for George Hendrick. Here comes a pitch from Grilly. Going to be off Hendrick's card. That will be an out. And a big powerful hack at that. That's going to be a ground ball down to second base. So 4-3 on the putout, goes Sutherland over to Thompson. 2 down, but the damage has been done. A 2-run blast by a designated hitter, Rico Carty, has given Cleveland some insurance. 44 off of Ashby's card. And against the right-hander, Ashby takes a big hack and nothing but air. Back to the bench he goes, and the side is retired. But 2 more hits and 2 more runs for the Indians. We are heading into the bottom of the 7th inning. Cleveland leads us 5-0. Fidrych is out of the game and looking to take the loss right now. So, Tom, can you hear me now, Verizon? This is 1976, so he doesn't even know what the hell that means when people give him that nickname, but he will someday. Pitch from Dobson, who is looking strong on the mound. He's only up to 7 with fatigue points. He has a total of 13. And off Verizer's card, and Verizor is going to dump that into right field. So maybe Dobson's arm are starting to crack just a little bit as the Tigers get their leadoff runner on. So Rob, how many people, friends of the channel, do you have in the race league right now? I'm actually looking forward to seeing a bunch of us in that participating. I'm sure you're up to double digits by now, if not close, eh? Gary Sutherland, the batter, and off of Dobson's card, or off of Sutherland's card, 64. And 64 is going to be an out, and Dobson ground ball down to third base, and over to second, over to first, and 5-4-3 double play. So Dobson is going to get a reprieve on a fatigue point there. And 2 quick outs, so the leadoff single is wasted. Bruce Kim up, and Kim let in a run with a passed ball. 3 going to be off Dobson's card, 17 from Kim, and he's going to drive that one back up the middle, a single. So top of the order, and that double play looming large as the Tigers look to get on the board. 6 going to be off Dobson's card to LaFleur, and 23, and LaFleur, he's got a single as well, so that is going to get Kim. Oh, Kim is a C trying to get to third base. 36, first to third on single to center, and just going to make it there ahead of the throw. So now the Tigers posing a little bit of a threat, and up to 9 is Dobson on fatigue. Runners at the corner. Shameless is a funny show. We watch that as well. Definitely crazy. It's good to see people act how sometimes you'd like to in real life and can't, because you never get away with it. 57 to Alex Johnson. That's going to be off of Dobson's card, and Johnson, fly ball to left field, and coming in to take that, glove extended, is George Hendrick, and Dobson gets out of it. So the Tigers come through for 3 hits. Dobson looks to be tiring a little bit, but a double play helps him out, and they strand 2. We're heading to the 8th inning, 5-0. And Cleveland totally in control in this one, as Doug Howard will set to lead it off in the 8th inning here. Grilly in his 2nd inning of work, and he won't be the last pitcher. Bill Laxton, the lefty, is also down in the bullpen, loosening up. So Grilly to Howard, and 7, that's going to be off Howard's card, 33. Swing and a miss. Howard, a big cut, and a big Nothenberger there as he heads back to the dugout, 1 down. Dwayne Kuiper up, and the crafty little second baseman for the Indians today is 1 for 2. He also has a walk thrown in there, coming off Kuiper's card, 24, and Kuiper is going to loop another single into right field. So the Indians hit parade keeps on coming. And Grilly is now up to 6, so he has 1 more base runner to allow either walk or a hit. If you're like a Frank Gallagher twin, Rob, I want to hang out with you sometime. Duffy the batter, 58, is going to be an out off of Duffy's card. And Duffy, ground ball down to shortstop, and Grilly's going to be the recipient of a double play. 6-4-3 on the putout. So the Indians get a hit, leave none, and we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cleveland cruising along 5-0 behind the pitching of Pat Dobson, who has twirled a masterpiece out there. Big Willie Horton, the designated hitter, set to lead things off for the Tigers. 10 off Horton's card, 11, and Horton rips one into left field. That was on a rope. And 11. So Dobson now up to 11. He's got a couple more base runners he can allow, and he's going to have to be yanked. So it's going to get the Indians bullpen busy. And down there, they're going to have the left-hander Dave LaRoche loosen up. So he will be ready to go when needed, as the cleanup hitter, Trusty Rusty Staub, comes up. LeGrande Orange, here we go. And off Staub's card, 85, and a clutch batter, 85, and that will be an out. Our first clutch batting check of the game with a runner on base. Unfortunately, the roll was not kind to Staub, as that is going to be a G3A. So that moves the runner to second base, as first baseman Doug Howard takes it himself, 3 unassisted and 1 down. But Tigers have a runner in scoring position again. Dobson faces Jason Thompson, and off of Dobson's card against the left-hander, 38, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Dobson now can only allow 1 more base runner off a hit or a walk, and he is done. Back to the chat, and Rob, mix of Kevin Soul, Disco Inferno. And Frank Gallagher. Okay, so let me see what that makes you. Oh my God. So you're a demonic, I don't even know what to describe Frank Gallagher as. A demonic con man who can dance good. That's an awesome combination, my friend. Aurelio Rodriguez up runners on first and second. Disco Inferno. How do you get in there? Dobson against the right-hander. It's going to be off of his card. And 27. And Dobson keeps ringing him up. Another strikeout. So he's definitely in double digits now. He kind of fell off his pace from earlier where he was on pace to get about 15. A demonic drunk dancing fool. I like it. Like I said, you're the kind of guy I'd like to hang out with. Nothing wrong with that. As Tom Verizon up, 2 down, runners on first and second, trying to get something in for the home fans. And 53 is not going to give it to him. Instead, he gives him a weak fly ball to center field. And Rick Manning, little showboat out there, does a basket catch as he jogs in. So we are through 8 innings. The Tigers get a hit, leave 2 as we're heading to the top of the 9th. And Cleveland fully with their foot down on this one, 5-0, and Lowenstein set to lead it off. And we actually need to get Grilly out of there. So Grilly, he goes 2 innings, gives up 3 hits, 2 runs, strikes out a couple, and the big blast he gave up was the 2-run puffin stuff to Rico Carty, which gives the Indians all the insurance they need. And we are going to change our mind and not bring in Bill Laxton. Why? Because he is horrible against right-handed hitters, and this Cleveland lineup is juiced with them. So instead, you get Jim Crawford. Distant uncle of Cindy Crawford. He'll pitch the 9th for the Tigers as John Lowenstein up. So Rob, with the HR Puffin stuff question, that's actually a home run call. I use one. Okay, real quick story about that. So HR Puffin stuff was a kid show back in like the early to mid 70s. It was a big, like a precursor to Barney, I guess, some big stuffed dragon. I don't even know what the hell he was. He looked like a big stuffed dragon. But we watched that as kids, and when we played baseball, because HR obviously stands for home runs, we would call our home runs HR Puffin stuffs when we hit them. So, okay, so you know the show. So yeah, so just using the HR out of HR Puffin stuff, that was our home run call as kids, I guess. And actually, even as I played into my teens, I'd call it home runs HR Puffin stuff. So kind of resurrecting that, bringing it back to the channel as Crawford set to face Lowenstein off of Crawford's card 24, and another hit for the Indians. Lowenstein, that is his 2nd of the day. And yeah, I remember Sigmund the Sea Monster too, and they were on acid when they made that show. I don't know, Al. I might have watched that on acid a time or two. I can't confirm or deny that. Buddy Bell, the batter, is going to be off his card 63 against the left-hander, and that'll be an out. G5A, so that's going to get the runner to second base, 5-3 on the putout. 1 down here on the top of the 9th for the Indians. Lidsville was actually a cool show. I used to watch that all the time. I think that was the kid, Jimmy was a kid in that, I believe, if I remember. Lidsville, HR Pub and stuff. Land That Time Forgot with Chaka. I liked the blonde girl in that. I had a 9-year-old crush on her. So Crawford facing Rick Manning. And 63 is going to come off of Manning's card. That'll be an out. And let's see if the Tigers can get out of this without any more damage. And it's going to be a ground ball down to first base. So that moves the runner over to third. 3-1 on the putout. So Indians have an insurance run they don't really need. 90 feet away, 2 down. Rico Carty. And Carty, replay back to the 7th inning. He took one into the night to give the Indians a 5-0 lead. 7. And it's going to be off Carty's card again. And 13. And Carty is going to come through with another RBI as he drives in Lowenstein with a sharp single to center field. And the Indians extend their lead 6-0 in the stadium. If it is everyone who is left is starting to head for the exits as Jordan Hendricks steps up. Hendricks, the right-hander, coming off his card 74. Takes a big uppercut swing at that and drives that deep into center field, going back to the wall of the track or on the floor, leaps and comes down with it. So a little bit of drama there. Not that it would matter either way, but he takes away a home run from Hendrick, and the Indians score one more on a couple of hits. We head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Cleveland firmly in control, 6-0. And Pat Dobson, he is fatigued, so he's going to be replaced. The new Cleveland pitcher, Dave LaRoche. And Dobson, hey, had a really good outing. He gave up 2 hits in the first and then didn't give up another hit until the 6th. So for the day, he gives up a total of 7 hits. And he has scattered them nicely, and no runs coming as a result. Control, he has walked 4. And struck out probably around 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on the nose. So good outing for Dobson. He goes 8 innings again. 7 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and 10 strikeouts. And Dave LaRoche, the lefty, is going to look to close it out. And rally caps indeed. Here they go. They're going to need it. And leading it off is going to be Gary Sutherland. Last chance for the Tigers. Bottom of the ninth. And LaRoche has control of 2-9 against lefties, 4-7 against righties. It's going to be off LaRoche's card. And 33. And 33. Swing and a miss. LaRoche rings up Sutherland. So he comes out firing BBs. 1 down. Bruce Kim the batter. Here we go. ID gesture. Welcome, welcome, my friend. I was watching a little bit of your Bo Jackson before I started this one. And you'll be quiet in chat because you're cutting out cards. And that, my friend, will be a first. Obviously giving you a hard time, but yeah, it'll still be a first. So Kim, 51, coming off of Kim's card. And that is going to be an out. So Tigers are going to be down to their last out as Kim hits a ground ball down to third base, and up with that is Buddy Bell. Easy toss over to first. And this will be a big-time rally needed. 6-0, Tigers trail Fidrych, staring an L right in the face, watching from the bench. And pitch to Ron LaFleur off of Ron LaFleur's card, and 33, LaFleur. He's going to drive that into left field, and that gets into the gap, gets down. LaFleur turning on the Jets. Second base, here comes the throw, he slides, and he's in there. A 2-out double. So a glimmer, and I mean super thin glimmer of hope remains. Here we go. Alex Johnson, the batter. LaRoche kicks, deals. 258 off LaRoche's card, and LaRoche. Johnson is a righty, and that is going to do it, folks. No error. As Johnson grounds that down to shortstop, and picking that up, taking the candy hop is Frank Duffy, whips it across the diamond, and Howard gloves it and comes out to congratulate his pitcher. 6-3 on the putout. Ball game is over. So your final here from Detroit. The Cleveland Indians. 2 more hits, 14. They got 16 hits on the day. 6 runs, 16 hits, no errors for Detroit. Three, 6, 8. No runs on 8 hits, no errors. So 6-0 your final, and a debut of Mark the Bird Fidrych does not go as it did in real life. In real life, of course, he beat the Indians 2-1. Twirling a 2-hitter, and in this start, the Indians twirled him. They banged him around. Fidrych lasted only 6 innings, gave up 11 hits, 3 runs, walked 1, struck out 3. Plenty of accolades to go around offensively for the Indians. Rico Carty, let's give him the player of the game. Rico went, after a first inning double play, he went 4 for 5 on the day, had 3 RBIs, scored 2 runs, and the big blast to put the game on ice in the 7th inning, a long home run down the left field line. So Rico Carty, our player of the game in this one, as the Indians spoil Mark Fidrych's national debut as a starter with a 6-0 victory. And we'll see Fidrych again later in this replay. see if he can come back and take care of my beloved Yankees, or if they will abuse him just the same. So thank you everyone for watching. Appreciate y'all swinging by. And I think probably next week, just if you're still here, I will have an official announcement of Glory Days Boxing. Finally got actually I have two real good printing estimates. The one that I got back just Friday, in fact, is the one I'm going to go with. I'm going to have them do a prototype, but definitely what I'm looking for in my price point to release the game at a manageable cost. I already have an agreement with another game maker to distribute it, and I will announce who that is next week after I get the final confirmation. I want to get the final confirmation from the printer. I let them know Friday late that I was going to go with them, and just to confirm and ask if they could do me a prototype. And then at that point, I'll finalize things with them and let the developer know. Order the rest of the stuff I need, which is dice, and my cam froze. No bueno. Might be because I was getting, you know what it did. Might be because I was getting low battery. I'm sorry about that. But then I'll again touch base with the developer, and once he gives me the thumbs up, looking at a May 1st release date, if things go according to plan, so I will let you know who's going to distribute that and how you can get it and when exactly it's coming out. So, oh, I'm sorry, Rob, it is my Glory Days boxing game, and I actually I'll do a fight on that in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow, as we have a Jack Johnson Jack Dempsey title fight on tap in Glory Days Boxing, so I'll do that so you can get a look at that. But nothing much else. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Al, Red Sox fan, make sure to check out his channel. And Al, I want to get in on one of your chat with friends at some point. A lot of fun, but Al does a lot of great stuff there. Strat-O-Matic, he's been playing more cards and dice actually lately, which is always good. ID Gesture has a National Pastime 3 one and done playoff going. Yankees are the favorites to win that, at least in my mind. And of course, Rob, as we mentioned, got wrestling and red, white, and blue racing with friends in the channel participating as drivers. So check out all those great channels. Check out all the friends of the channel, in fact, and appreciate you watching. And until next time, keep rolling.